Hey, and welcome to a new speed build. This comes with a bit of a delay because I traveled back home to Germany from California at the weekend, and because of the coronavirus outbreak, that was all very scary and stressful. But now I'm safely home and finally got to finish this build and video. So it's quite modern family home for two adult Sims and two children, and it's inspired by a house I saw on a run. Although when I ran past it again a couple of days ago, I noticed that I didn't get it quite right, so maybe I'll have to revisit this at some point. It's fairly big, so bigger than my usual tiny builds, but it's a completely base game. And I did want to make this very playable. So usually I clutter my builds a lot and it's sometimes questionable whether you actually want to play in this. But this I tried to build in a way that it's actually very well suited for actual gameplay. The left part of it's going to be a garage, which is the first for me. And then on the top I built this like green roof. So I used these bushes. I had to move them around a bit to make it look less uniform. Because I think that's like kind of a cool, environmentally friendly thing to do. And then it has this little bump on the side. That's actually the main thing I noticed on the house, that I saw this little wooden bump, and then the rest of the house was just white. Because the left part's supposed to be a garage, I had to use the terrain tool to make like a driveway, and I'm really bad at making hills and stuff, so I struggle a bit with that, and it's still a bit bumpy, but I think it's okay. And then that's going to be the entrance area, and yeah, then I placed a car in there. And for the door, I used this garage door that I found in the debug menu, although I'm not super happy with it, so I think the next time I'm going to try to build a garage, I'll do the thing where you use pillars and different wallpaper, because this one's actually like a bit too small. The car doesn't really fit through, but ignore that. So this is me creating the driveway, and then a little wall on the side. And the main decorative feature on the outside of this house is rock gardens, which I think is a cool thing to do if you want to place a house in a more deserty area. It's actually like very realistic, and so I did try to do that here. Maybe I should have cut that a bit though. So welcome to me placing down rocks for 10 minutes straight in the front yard, and then I actually also did that in the back, though I think I at least cut that part. So yeah, rocks and 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 rocks, and I think that's almost it. And then I picked some desert plants like the aloe vera and stuff, and I placed these on top, like well, I guess it's not little succulents because they're too big, but you know, like these plants that don't need a lot of water. And I think it turned out okay and quite nice. I changed the color of the driveway like to this more oh, I don't know what you call it, to this, because I thought it looked nicer from the color. And then I also deleted some of the coloring in the front, so the garden is more separate. And then I did more rock gardening on the other side, but yeah, that I did cut. Good job, me. And other than that, the front's fairly simple, just that plant that I just placed. And then in the back, I created, in this little nook, I created a little patio. And then I decided that instead of putting like my usual plant growy thing, the name of which I've already forgotten again, I created like a proper roof, and then on the side, instead of putting a pillar, I put a wall and then used windows as a bit of a divider, which like shelters you from the wind but still lets in the light. And use the same windows on the other side. That's where the bedroom's going to be. Then of course also some doors so you can get in there. And then I did actually put walls around the backyard. So usually I keep the garden fairly open, but this one I wanted to enclose a bit, and I put a pool, and surprise, surprise, more rock gardening around the pool. But I do think that looks like quite nice to have the pool sort of sunken into this rocky area, and then with all the plants on the sides again. Pool's fairly small though. The whole backyard is actually fairly small, because maybe because the house is so big already. But I do think there's enough room for you to play and to put some more activities if you want to. The only thing I put is the monkey bars for the child. Though first I put some more windows on the, like basically all around. I actually do think that from the outside, the sides of the house look a bit boring, especially that one side was just a bunch of little windows, but yeah, I noticed that too late. So it's not ideal. Then there you see the monkey bars, and I put some palm trees just for decoration, and of course some more rocks around those to make it like a uniform look. And then I turned to the little patio, and that's just a grill and a table with some chairs for you to sit. And then I started on the garage. So fairly simple wallpaper, just this one that looks like bricks that have been painted a while ago. And then I did also put all these fitness equipment. I think that's a very realistic thing to have in a garage. And it also means that this room isn't completely wasted for decoration, because of course the garage as such is not very useful. You can't drive the car. Then I moved on to the kitchen, which is also fairly simple design. So I started just with these base game counters, which are like the go-to counters, I guess, if you want to make a modern base game build. And I did start with gray, and I did put a dishwasher too, because for once this was a fairly big kitchen. Usually my kitchens are very small and crammed. And then I changed the color of this to green, and that's where the green craze started. So once I started with this, I started to turn a lot of furniture into green, as you'll see shortly. But I think it looks nice. I like green. And then I did put some clutter. Again, I kept this fairly empty, because I did want to make it usable and playable, and for you to actually have a lot of counter space to put stuff on, and to not be like too distracted by all the decorations. And then I had a hard time deciding on a table, so I actually moved on to the living area first, and I used these couch and chair, and also in green, and then put the TV on the wall, and I used the kitchen cabinets again as little I guess shelving units in the living room. On the, like, if you lower them down, I think it looks quite cool, because it's like coffee table height. And then I did use wooden shelves too, to create like a bit of a whole wall furniture piece with the TV in the middle, which I think is nice. And then I put the wood on the back to have like a backdrop of that. And then I started putting clutter on this, and I only used things that actually snatch to the shelves, because at least when I play, I've noticed that if I erase stuff up there, it won't disappear if I put the walls down while playing, and I find that quite distracting if you suddenly have like books floating around in the air. So I tried to avoid that by only putting things like, well, the pictures are actually theoretically hanging on the wall, but all the clutter is stuff that actually snatches to the shelves, and I think then it does disappear if you put the walls down. So I hope that works. And then I did put some wine bottles on the bottom for the parents, of course, and some more wood around the whole nook. So the couch area is actually like its own little space, and I think it looks more cozy with the wood all the way around. And then for the floor, I actually picked a wood that's fairly similar to the walls. I like the sleek look that created. But I did put a carpet in this nook area, and that's actually maybe one of the few things in here that isn't green. Of course, I put a plant again, and then I decided on this dining table and put some chairs, and the chairs are green too. So 6 chairs, a bit more than you'd need, so you can have some guests, and a little bookshelf, of course. I used this modern one. It's not my personal style, but I felt in here it fit quite well. And then also some pictures, and a little rug in front of the front door, where you can swipe your feet, and also a guitar. There's not a ton of skill building in here, just like the usual things that you can easily pop into a corner. And then I started decorating that corner, completely ignoring that that's the only spot where the door to the children's room could go. So we'll get back to that. But first I moved on to the bathroom, which again, to make it as playable as possible, I put a tub and a shower, so you can take a bath, but you can also have a quick shower, because that doesn't take as long. And then use the counters again from the kitchen, and the big wall mirror, and some more shelves. Fairly uniform style throughout the whole house, so a lot of use of these shelves, and then of the green counters. And again, put some clutter that snatches to the shelves, and just some towels on the wall. On the wall, also a little hand towel next to the sink. And then I used this cobblestone floor, and the bricks, and I think the bricks are the same that I have used. Yeah, it's the same I've used in the kitchen actually as a backdrop. Then I decided that the doors could also be green because there's not enough green in the house yet. So I changed that. Actually, this is a thing I've noticed with my builds, that once I've decided on some color, I tend to go like quite monochrome sometimes, and I'm like happy to find more things that are the same color, and then everything becomes that one color. And green is actually a fairly, like, that's one that happens often. But yeah, so here I use the counters again as these little nightstands this time, and put a lamp on it. It's actually really easy to put stuff on there because nothing snatches. So if you use the red shelf, you can just put a bunch of things here. And here, of course, I didn't care if it snatches or not because it's low enough that it won't be in the way if you want to play with the walls down. And also put some of the counters up there to create like it's a bit like the bed is a inbuilt piece of furniture in this bedroom. And then I did just put some pictures on the walls. And on the side, I think this bedroom has a good size, so there's enough room to put an actual proper dresser, but I didn't like most of them look-wise, so I just ended up using these little cubbies and then hanging the shirts on the wall, and just put a chair instead. I think a chair in a bedroom is very important. That's where you put your laundry. That's too good to go in the hamper, but not good enough to go back in the wardrobe. And I put a little easel for painting. I think style-wise it looks a bit weird in the bedroom, but I did want to put it just so I'd have some more skill building in here. And then I went around actually and fixed the lights. That's what I just did before I moved in on to the children's room. Now noticing that there's no room for a door. So I moved everything to the side and then moved things around over here so there's room, and had to move everything in the garage now too. I'm sorry, I hope you don't get motion sick. This was moving fairly quickly. But then I finally had room for the door. And the bedroom, I squeezed both children in here. I guess I could have had a second bedroom, but usually if I play with children, I always squeeze them in one room. I don't know what that says about me. And so it's room for one child or teenager and a toddler, but that could easily be adjusted because you see there's room enough for two big beds too. And then I did put the little toy box to make sure the children have enough to play, and also this cool panda chair that I really love. And then again for the wall, some shelves, but this time I actually forgot that I only wanted to use stuff that snatches, so I did fix that later and like removed these binders and remove this piggy bank. I think I put just like some toys or something instead, and use this frame with the shoes. I think that's such a cute thing, and very realistic for a kid's room. And then I did use these curtains, I think, that look very nice in the little nook, and color-wise it fit perfectly. And then for the older child, I just used blinds and then a bunch of posters on this wooden wall, which would be especially well suited to use pins on it. And I put some more shelves, and this time I did remember, and I only put things that snatched, and it's mainly toys, I think, and some books. It's really upsetting me that the books that are standing and that actually work as books don't snatch to the shelves. That's, oh, I hate that. I love using those, but then you always have to raise them up with a red shelf or by yourself. And then I did put a desk for the older child to actually do the homework there, although there is the big dining table on which I also later actually put a laptop, but I think I did that off screen. And yeah, changes to the children's table because it fit better with the colors, and use this little panda lamp that I really love. I wish I had that. And I used a little pin board, although it looks more like it's from a police station. But, well, I tried to put the postcards on it, but since they snatched to the wall, they would disappear. And then for the lamp, I just used these balloon lamps. Yes, and then some final touches on the outside, some palm trees for decoration. And that's basically it. So this is the final house. I made a little video again. So the layout's fairly simple, but I think it's very usable, and I really like how it turned out. I personally love green a lot, but of course, if you don't like the color all that much, you're welcome to change around things. Oh, there you see the laptop. I did place that later when I was playtesting the whole house. So I do hope you enjoyed this build, and I'll probably be making many more in the next weeks because I'm mainly staying indoors, of course, and I hope so do you. So be safe and be kind and stay at home. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again soon, all happy and healthy, and this is a great time to watch a lot of YouTube videos. So there you see it again from the back, and that's it. Thank you, and bye bye.